Okay, good evening, guys. Welcome to Valetax webinar tonight. Sorry about the fact that we are starting a little bit late. There was a slight power interruption. That's the reason why, but now we are back. And now we are back. It has been raining here, and when it's raining around here, usually there are power interruptions, but hopefully nothing is going to interfere with our session tonight. So welcome once again, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask those questions, preferably after the end of this presentation. After the end of the presentation, you can feel free to ask your questions. And if you're having any technical issues to do with audio or video, please let me know. So my name is Denis Mwenga. And welcome to today's session. I have spent over 8 years navigating the ups and downs of the financial markets, obviously as an analyst and trader. And so if you're joining this call feeling, overwhelmed by numbers, charts, conflicting strategies, you are basically exactly where you need to be. My career objective over the years has simply been to help retail traders escape confusion, find absolute execution clarity. And so, as a market analyst with Valtax, I usually see firsthand where retail traders, struggle. And today we are opening the curtains, I'd say that, on a tool that was once kept secret on tutorial desks, that is automated and algorithmic trading systems. So take note, of course, of the risk disclaimer as well as we proceed. So the goal of this webinar is very simple, is to introduce you to the two primary ways you can obviously trade the markets. And these are ways whereby you can use what I call smart technology to simply do the heavy lifting for you. So automated trading systems, which entail building your rules, and the other smart technology that you can use is trading, trading by following other professional traders, popularly known as copy trading. You are leveraging essentially on professional systems. And by the time you finish, or by the time we are done here, you will know exactly how to step away from, I'd say, from your computer screens without missing any high probability market moves. So now let's do this. Let's talk about the ultimate barrier that faces most retail traders. So you see, the market is, in reality, is that, major volatility, especially in high opportunity assets like gold, for example, and global indices, S&P 500, US 30, and the rest, you know, uh, peaks during overlaps, of the trading sessions, like let's say the London trading session and New York trading sessions. And so for many of us, those moves happen while, we are busy with our daytime jobs, maybe managing our businesses or resting offline. So the core problem is human limitation. This is the core problem. You are limited as a human being. You cannot watch markets for 24 hours without experiencing some sort of mental burnout. So this is not good, because when you trade while exhausted, you tend to make dangerous emotional choices. And these emotional choices revolve around panic, greed, revenge trading. Inevitably, these things will slide into your trading. And the solution is very simple. The solution can be automation. Think of a trading bot as your personal digital employee. You know, this employee never goes to sleep. It doesn't have an ego. It feels zero fear. And it is on duty for 24 hours, 7 days, 5 days. It can be seven, depending on whether you trade cryptocurrency. and the robot is executing exactly what you tell it to do. It's, in other words, following your instructions. And so, how do we bridge the gap between a beginner and automated trading? How do we bridge this gap? And obviously, this is now where Valetax comes in. First, we feature the native MetaTrader 5 integration as Valetax. This is obviously Meta 5 is the industry's benchmark platform, running what we call expert advisors on that platform. So expert advisors are the robots. So second, to help you bypass the expensive software barriers, we try as much as possible to directly supply you with free robots because you are our client. So you can start testing setups without heavy upfront development fees. So you get to save costs, I suppose. Finally, remember that a trading bot needs speed, and our institutional grade platforms are, high speed execution infrastructure, which will obviously ensure that your bot's automated entries are filled instantly, with very minimal slippage. And this precision execution ensures your strategy works exactly as you had intended. So the execution is precise and quite high speed. So let's have a look at what is a trading bot or EA, expert advisor. Let's demystify, that tech jargon. So what exactly is a bot on the MT5 platform, which is the bot is officially known as an expert advisor or EA. So when you come across that word EA, it means expert advisor. And at its basic level, an EA is just a software that acts on very strict programmed set of conditional logical rules. These logical rules, of course, rules to monitor patterns, evaluate assets, for example, and initiate orders automatically. Initiate orders automatically. So think of it through this split framework, okay? Think of it as, how do I put this? You essentially, you provide the brain and your strategy, that is your strategy and rules. That's what you provide. Your trading methodology, your parameters, and your risk boundaries. And the bot provides the muscle, which is called lightning fast, when it comes to execution, and very, very highly disciplined, So the bot cannot think for itself. That's one misconception that you shouldn't have. You shouldn't believe that the bot can think for itself. No, it cannot think for itself. This is usually an area where most new traders go wrong, thinking that the bot can think for itself. The bot simply duplicates, your logic very, very perfectly. So you must have the logic behind it when you are creating it. So it's not the bot thinking for itself. And now, when you're building this bot, let's see the builder's path. How do we explore? Let's explore your way forward, your path forward. Path A, first path. For those who want to build their own systems or their own bots. And the good news basically is you do not need to be a software programmer to automate. That's the beautiful thing with the times that we are living in nowadays. We have technology that you can use or have access to, and even if you're not a programmer, you usually can have sometimes what we call visual drag and drop builders and ready-made MT5 templates, which obviously make automation accessible to everyday retail traders. And the roadmap is very straightforward. It involves the first step. The first step is simply to define your strategy. Define your strategy. You see, define your strategy. For instance, a rule that states buy if the asset's relative strength index, known as the RSI, drops below 30. Simple. You program that. Step 2, building the system using your chosen visual wizard or visual template. That's the second step. Your programming platform, in other words. And step three, you deploy. Yeah, it's deploying and monitoring. You load it up on the Valetax 75 terminal, and of course, you monitor its activity. That's the third step. You can see three simple steps. So my crucial pro tip, for this path would be always try to load your new logic onto, you look for a high balance account, and high balance account, a demo account or test account first. That's the first thing that you should do, you know. And this will allow you to witness your operational parameters play out, obviously, in real time, and using real market data without putting any of your capital at risk. So you get to enjoy seeing how your system works, the one that you have built. And so the other option, or path B, you see, if now configuring a robot or setting up that manual criteria feels so complex for you right now, maybe it's something you're planning, you can do some other time, maybe you feel it's complicated and need to learn more how to do it, but there is an alternative automated shortcut, which I'm calling here path B, and that is copy trading, which is very ideal. It's an automation option for beginners who prefer to follow, systems that are established and vetted, market professionals, rather than engineering a personal bot from scratch. And because you might not be having that technical know-how, or at first it might be a little bit intimidating to you. So path B, copy trading, you still get access to an automated trading system. So when you connect your trading account, when it comes to copy trading, that means that your trading account instantly mirrors the exact real-time execution, execution steps, which are being taken by what we'll call a master trader. You're copying a master trader. Now, you will get like three benefits, main benefits, three key benefits. First, when it comes to the setup, it requires simply zero technical setup. No programming language is needed, heavy platform structures, all those things, there are those complications are not there. So the technical setup is quite straightforward and simple. That's the beauty of it. And the other thing is you're learning while you earn. You're in that kind of environment. It creates a learn while you learn environment. That's what I call it. This environment simply allows you to observe very professional positions and technical setups while growing your own market foundation. You see, it allows you to observe, to learn as you grow. And finally, you have to, it helps you maintain full control. Full control meaning you can adjust, your allocations, or you can disconnect from a master trader immediately if you don't like the way they are trading or operating. You can choose to disconnect from that master trader. So this is a very simple strategy example. Let's look at a real strategy here, and the golden rule of algorithmic design is that simple rules are far way easier to audit, manage, do what, and over time optimize. When you have simple rules, you can audit them easily, manage them easily, optimize easily over time. Now, for example, let's have a classic, highly effective rule-based setup that you can use. For instance, so the condition, the system monitors if current asset price is trading completely above its 50-period moving average. That's the condition. Price above the 50 period moving average line. And this obviously confirms we are in a strong upward trend. So that's the first thing. You see, we are setting a condition. We are observing to see if the condition is being met. That is what the robot is essentially doing. These are the rules you're fed it with. And, in this case, we see if price is trading above that 50-period moving average. And this will obviously confirm we are in a very strong uptrend. And then we have the entry signal. So the bot will automatically trigger a buy trade. The very millisecond a candlestick closes distinctly above that average, moving average indicator, within milliseconds, it will open a position. Then, of course, risk control, which is very important. The bot instantly will try to attach a stop loss, what we can call a defensive stop loss, and let's say 2%, and a take profit, which is also automated, a take profit of like 4%. Now, why does this strategy thrive on Valtax? For example, this strategy that we have given, a very simple strategy, can be traded at any time frame, even a very shorter time frame. So why does it thrive on Valtax? And the reason is simply because of our very ultra low spreads. They ensure that minor percentage price targets stay highly profitable, obviously, after underlying trading fees have been covered. So that's the edge that you have, that you know, type of, I'd say, account with low spreads. Quite a nice advantage, I'd say. Now, very important, I will emphasize on a very important rule, the core rule being testing your strategy is entirely mandatory before you allocate any live capital. So professional systems execution is really built on these three milestones: back testing, paper trading, and launching live. So when we back test, what we are trying to utilize a built-in MT5 strategy tester engine. The MT5 platform has a strategy tester engine, and it will let you run your bot's conditional code backward, obviously, against historical price data from, let's say, the past year, to see how hypothetically you would have performed. And we are using stage number 2 here, paper trading. That means you launch your customized robot or connect to a selected master trader on a virtual demo account. And this will obviously validate how the logic responds to current or real-time data. And of course, finally, you live launch. You only, of course, this means that you transition your logic to live or real money execution after that phase of paper trading has demonstrated stability. So you can transition very comfortably, very comfortably. Now, there are many mistakes that traders do make, and these pitfalls are pitfalls that you should watch out for. And the first mistake is, oh, you know what? I'll just set and forget. This is a fallacy, I'd say. Now, because, excuse me, when you hear about robots, when traders hear about robots for the first time, their mind switches off, I'd say, and think that automation involves absolutely abandoning everything. So this is automation is absolutely not an abandonment thing. Absolutely not. Even the best running expert advisors, copy trading strategies, they will demand that you check up on them on a routine basis. You do routine performance audits and connectivity checks to see is the system still connected. Now, the other mistake is chasing, chasing that 100% win rate. This is also another big one, and most people tend to buy into it and find themselves in scammy systems, or with scammy systems, because you are chasing 100% win rate. And systems in trading is simply a game of pure probability. Once you understand this, then you really shorten your learning curve when it comes to trading, when it comes to the experience of trading. Once you understand it's a game of pure probability and not about, absolute certainty. So that's why you need a consistent, disciplined edge, and in this case, mathematical edge over time. This edge over time always beats a reckless search for perfection. So over time, you're following this edge, you're managing your risk well, you understand this is not, set and forget. And in other words, you're being aware, you're being alert. Hmm? You're not chasing 100% win. So you tend to start understanding what I was saying earlier, that probability matters. It is what there is. When it comes to trading results, you must view them from the lens of probability. And consistent, disciplined, and an edge, over time will always beat, that search for perfection. Like what traders do, you will be way ahead in terms of mindset. And the mistake number 3, ignoring news events or macro news events. These can be unanticipated, fundamental shocks, or what we call black swan events. These are events that were not foreseeable at all, and they can tend to quickly interfere with how, or disrupt with how your technical robot is working out. So to protect your system, you have to protect your awareness, and to do that, you should always be on the lookout for opportunities to learn. Always, always, always. And you can regularly be attending our live Valtax webinars, Valtalks podcast, to track what is upcoming in terms of high impact economic themes, so that you don't get lost in the weeds. So your next steps will be very, very simple now. You download the Valtax MT5 terminal onto your computer if you don't have one. Log in and browse the suite, of free trading robots directly. In fact, let's have a glimpse of that, these trading robots on the trading platform. Just have a glimpse of them. And of course, the final step number 3, you can head over to Valtax and start checking out copy trading. So that's what we are actually going to do, as well as see the free robots as well. The free robots that are there already customized and ready for someone to start exploring with them. Okay, I'm opening my trading platform. So take advantage of them. Any time frame can work. I'm not going to show you the technicalities of how to create a trading robot. There is a lot of content out there on that. And of course, there is really no time for that as well. But let's have a look. Let's have a look at some of these things that we are talking about. To just share my screen very quickly. Okay. Very quickly. So that's your typical MT5 trading platform. It's your typical MT5 trading platform. So once I go to file and was it file? Okay. So not file, sorry, navigator. It's a navigator. As the navigator, once you go to navigator, you can see there we have expert advisors. I'll click on that drop down arrow. There we have expert advisors. Expert advisors. And yeah. Expert advisors. So expert advisors, you can see free robots right there. Free robots, and all of them, you can start digging into them. What is this Black Cross White Soldiers, CCI, Black Cross White Soldiers? So these, for example, are robots for detecting candlesticks, for instance, depending on the time frame you want to trade on, 1 hour, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, doesn't matter. So these are they help you identify these types of candlestick patterns, harami, engulfing, yeah, bullish bearish meeting lines, dark cloud piercing line, combined with a tool called the CCI. So it's simply a matter of taking one, double clicking on it, allow modification of signal settings, allow algo trading, and inputs here. When you look at the inputs, if you want to recalibrate, change anything to do with the period of the CCI, for example, trend, moving average period, you can do it from inputs. And when I say okay, the robot gets activated. When you look at my screen there, you can see on the right corner. That means once the robot spots that pattern, it will go ahead and take action. For example, a dark cloud piercing line, it's usually a reversal, trend reversal signal or trend reversal pattern when you're looking at a candlestick chart. So that's why I was saying, okay, you also need to use your mind, of course. You need to understand what role does a pin bar serve. For example, if you're looking at a chart and you see a pin bar, what does it indicate? The likelihood of what happening. So you have to learn about the chart patterns as well. So we have the morning, evening star doji, morning, evening star doji, using the RSI, using the MFI, money facilitation index, and then using the stochastics. In other words, you can combine candlestick patterns with technical indicators. Maybe you might have come across such concepts on the internet, but if you haven't, it's fine. It simply means here you can combine two tools and come up with a trading system after combining two tools or three tools like the CCI, MFI, RSI, and the stochastics oscillator. Those tools, for instance. Okay, so those are trading robots that you're looking at right there. They are ready-made, packaged. As I said, once you see that on your right, dark cloud piercing line, that means if that pattern appears, the market will, execution will occur. So even if you're using robots, patience is very, very important. There's no need to rush at all. Even the robot itself is disciplined and patient enough to wait. And as I had said, um, it's not the robot. The work of the robot is to execute. To execute, your job is to set up the rules. That's your job. So now let's explore our copy trading portal and see some performance there, because copy trading, as I had said, it's also another form of automated trading system as well, which obviously cannot be ignored at all. So when you go to the website, valetax.com, let me just share my screen also as well, so that we can be on the same page. Okay. Okay, trying to look for, where is it? Yeah. So when you go to our official site there, you see the option for copy trading. So I'm going to click on it, copy trading, and best to even log in. Best to even log in. Internet seems to be lagging today, but well, we'll do it. So there we are. Copy trading. So how does it work? Very simple. You select a money manager or the master trader. You deposit money, depending on if you have, you have the sufficient minimum amount or capital needed, which you want to use as a source of funds. And then step 3, following and tracking your investments. As you can see here on the question section, FAQ questions, there are so many questions. For example, I can see someone asking, a question here to do with, what is copy trading? How can I select different money managers and diversify my investments? See, the answer is yes. You can diversify your portfolio by investing with multiple money managers with different strategies, which can help manage risk. How does copy trading work? As we had discussed earlier, you select one or more traders to invest with, and your account mirrors their trading actions. When they buy or sell assets, your account does the same in proportion to your investment, of course. Yes, you can choose a preferred manager to follow. Can you withdraw funds anytime? Generally, funds are withdrawable anytime. Are there any fees involved? There will be fees associated with the money manager that you invest with. All fees are shared transparently on for different money managers. And what happens if a money manager that are investing with incurs a loss? There are risks involved in all investments, and if the money manager incurs a loss, your funds invested will decrease proportionately. That's why I was insisting earlier on risk management. Okay. And how much do I need to invest to start copy trading? So each money manager sets their preferred initial investment amount for their investors, and you may check this amount in your members area. Some people also ask, can I contact the money manager? You can contact the customer support, and the Valetax team will be in liaison with the money manager. There is no option to contact a money manager directly. Okay. And do the profits get transferred to the wallet or automatically reinvested in the investor's account? So the system does not transfer profits automatically. You will be able to manage funds on your own. And can I log in to MT4, MT5 with my investor account to invest on the trades copied? No, the system will display your trades in the members area only. So you cannot do that. Cannot do that mischief, I suppose. So available strategies. Let's look which are the available strategies. As of now, I can see we have multi-bombard. Total growth has been 1,262. Average growth on a week, 5.8%. Minimum investment, $1. And has 4,278 investors. And you can see the total funds are what? $320,000, 322. So I have Gold 1, Gold Eagle Evolution, Kusing Monies, Go to the Moon, and the reporting is there. The average weekly growth, total growth, minimum investment, investors as well, total funds, days, and the performance fee. For example, now the performance fee for this multi-bombard strategy provider or master trader, his initial investment, of course, you can start with $1, but to mimic his performance or to copy the signals automatically, you require, at the end of the month, you'll pay them a performance fee of 30%. And you can see most guys are 30%, 30%. We have 19% Golden Eagle Revolution, 10% for who? Go to the Moon. That's an interesting name. Let's see another 10% if we have any. 30, 35, 40. Okay. It was only Go to the Moon. So this is where your robots, automated systems via copy trading, or I'll say robots via using copy trading. So the systems are there listed very well. Also, the number of people who have subscribed, or the number of investors, for multi-bombard being the largest, having the largest number of investors. And data smart trade, this one has 99. Then you have another one having 100. 120s, 127, 130. That is the number of investors that some of these people have invested in their trading systems, or trading robots, whatever way one might wish to call them. Okay, so having said that, I'd like to announce, of course, and say this will be the end of our session tonight. Stick out for tomorrow's session. Tomorrow we are going to look into foundations of trading, helping new traders navigate the market by, first of all, learning what is important. For example, learning risk management. It's very, very important. So those are the things that we'll be talking about. I don't want to talk much, but be prepared tomorrow to learn a lot, to learn from verified experts, I'd say, people who have survived in the market for years and years and understand all the nuances that can happen in their minds, when they are trading, everything that can go on in their minds when they are trading. Are they relaxed? Are they at an emotionally or psychologically bad place? And importantly, what to do about it. That is the solutions about it. So we shall have that conversation in our next webinar, but not this month. This month, the next upcoming webinar will be totally different, but I'm suspecting up to next month. So now I can have the opportunity to take on questions if there are any questions that I'm trying to establish. I can see there are no questions. Okay, so there are no questions. I don't think there are any questions. And so, since there are no questions, let me take this opportunity to thank you guys for making, you know, coming to this lesson, and also coming on time. If you have any queries, any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Feel very, very free. And we're going to break down, of course, some of the robots that you have seen. You might be having questions like, how do I install this robot and such, but don't worry about that. If you have any challenge with that, please feel free to contact me or to contact one of our account managers, and they'll definitely reach out to me. So having said that, have a very wonderful night, guys. Sleep well, sleep tight, and of course, be safe. Take care. Good night, everyone.